Hello, welcome to my channel, Data Driven Decisions. I just made a video to show this activity and sleep data that I just stood up. And today, I'm so proud of the month of May for myself on the front of exercise that I want to make a page that just hones in on a month and shows me everything about the month so that you know I can brag about the month of May and try to keep it going for the month of June. So here's a blank page that I just started. I called it the month profile and built just a single filter right here, a single select of all the months I have. It's still on. All right, so I got to run this again. I'm not going to make you suffer through that, but I thought I turned this off, but I must have not saved my work and I lost some stuff. Nothing too bad, but that's always a bad habit to leave and not save. But let me rerun this. It takes about 10 minutes and I'll just edit out the video. Um, so you don't have to wait. Or I can maybe walk through this. This is BigQuery. This is the SQL script for the exercise and sleep data that I have. I do some cool stuff that I just learned in BigQuery. Like focusing on the sleep data. First thing I do is just kind of take all the sleep data. There's more data than sleep. There's activity, there's stress, but here's just the sleep data. This is how I impute. This is how you do linear regression in BigQuery. All right, I made it a lot bigger. Hopefully you can see this, but this is gold. I have not heard of this ever before in a database, but BigQuery did it, and this makes BigQuery, in my opinion, by far the best database tool. I don't know what others can do it. Maybe the other cloud tools can do it, but databases are not known to do statistics inside itself. You always got to take it to a Python or a SAS or a Minitab. You always got to, take it to um, something for data science. But BigQuery is doing linear regression. That's what I'm doing right here. Linear reg right here is the model type. This is the output auto sleep score, and this is the way I'm doing it, auto split. So the auto sleep score has some missing values, so I just want to fill that in. And so these are all the values that don't have missing values, and this is the y, the predictor, and it predicts this, and it only predicts it for the values where auto sleep score is not missing. But then the next step is to take that model, the prediction, and um, you know merge it with the input and come up with the prediction scores even for those missing values. So that's what this does. It just merges the model with the table and adds in the predicted auto sleep score even for those that were missing. And I do that for all of the missing values. So here I do it again. I do it again. Um, this is where I bring it together. So in this table, now you don't have any missing on this auto sleep side. Um, and I just keep that going. So now I got all the auto sleep filled. So on to the next one. So it's kind of cascading. So as far as the first one to impute, probably the one with the least number of missing values, impute that one first. Once you got that the missing filled in, then use that as the prediction for the next missing value. So in that situation, it's the sleep cycle sleep score that has a lot of missing. It misses a lot, but now I have the auto sleep stuff as predictors for that because I filled it in. So it's a process. This is imputing missing values, and you always want to do that when you're doing statistics because anytime there's a missing value for an X or a Y, whether it's the predictor or a response, it's going to just take out the whole row, so it's not going to count. None of it's going to count. So you don't want to, let the missing values ruin your models, and it's better just to predict those and add those so that you have a full model. So that's kind of what I'm doing. Um, first step is the imputing of the missing values. So here's where I bring it in. Oops, I got an error. Stretch sleep score has null values. Where is this happening? Sleep score model v2. So let's see what the problem is. Sleep score model v2. Oh, yeah. You always got to make sure. Stretch sleep score. There are some more missing values creeping in, and that's causing problems. But it was just a coding error where you got to make sure the predictor is not null. So let me run it from that point forward, and hopefully I get um, all good stuff. All right, back to the explanations. Um, let's find out where I was. Okay, so this is the sleep cycle impute. And in this stuff, I try to take the bedtime and the wake up, and that's a time value, so that's not going to help with modeling. So you got to turn it into I in here, ChatGPT told me to do the sine and the cosine. That's what I do, and um, use that as a predictor. But I think an even better one is pick the best time to fall asleep and make that the baseline, and then days uh, or hours or seconds past that time would be the metric. So it could be negative or positive, but I end up doing that. I think that's the best way to take a time metric and turn it into a predictor. Um, so here's me adding some just categorical values based on the bedtime difference in seconds, giving it a score. So here's me taking the bedtime difference and giving it a score. So this is kind of how I'm coming up with the grades. So taking every predictor and finding what the best value is. And I got to do a better job at doing that. I should I need to see scatter plots, just X versus Y, and see what the relationship is. See if maybe it's not linear. Maybe it's got something that needs, you know, something like quadratic, or interactions. I haven't done that process, and I think I might need to do that. But for each metric, coming up with some sort of rating, value from 0 to 1. That's really the meat of it, is coming up with a percentage, a score. So that's what a lot of this code is doing, coming up with those scores. Here's like the ultimate sleep score, or one of them. It's like, here's got to wait. So I turned every value into a score, a percentage from 0 to 1, and here's just a weighted average. So that's one of the sleep uh, models. I do an ensemble, so I predict it using multiple techniques. Very anxious to use neural networks, see how valuable that is, but it needs large data. But I do it a couple ways, and that's always the best approach in statistics, is to you have many ideas of how to model it, and you don't know which is right, but just do them all and then come up with a system that tracks every model that you create. Find out for every you know uh, model uh, group by what is doing the best, what's doing terrible, and come up with a self-weighted average based on past prediction power. And I did that at a prior company, and that was really good at Steelcase. Um, all right, nope, it's not finished. What else do I got here? This is just me adding. Z-scores. I do Z-scores. That was another way I've tried to predict come up with an overall score is instead of working with a value from 0 to 1, work with Z-scores and then um, model by that. Here's a function in BigQuery. So um, you know, I didn't want to do this many times over in BigQuery. So this is some complicated function to turn a z-score into a percentile, and then I just call it right here, and that does the function. So that's a cool way. That's something I recently learned in BigQuery, how to do a function, thanks to ChatGPT. All right, it's still running. Um, here's me predicting the stretch sleep score. Stretch means, when you take an average, it's hard to get a value close to 1 or a value close to 0. So I stretch it. So the min is always 0 and the max is always 1. So I think that's the best way for what my approach. That way I get more A's and more F's, just more variability in the scores. So yeah, I do want to spend, a video or two going over BigQuery. I mean, this really is the hard work. This is what takes a lot of time to learn. This is like the coding aspect of, BI. There's many different, coding types. There's a lot of Python coders. I'm more of a database coder, so I can work really well in any database. I know Python. I know all the BI tool languages. Those usually come with two, one for the semantic layer and one for the measure creation, such as Power Query, and then you got DAX for, you know, Power BI. So most languages usually have those two types of languages. All right, the query finished. So we can go back to dashboarding. That's what I want this video to be about, but I did give a brief tutorial of what I did in BigQuery. All right, so this is a blank page, first tile, filter tile. Give it a shadow, but this is really the base of this dashboard. And I can use recycle other tiles that I have across other worksheets, such as this one. So I just had to copy that. Let's give that a shadow. I don't know why it doesn't have it. I like the shadows. So that's the month of May with the ultimate sleep score. That's crucial. More important is the day score. So that's how my day went for the month of May. So my best day was the 6th. My worst day was the 19th. So that's valuable. And so is this table. Definitely now some of these tiles that I'm going to bring in, I probably should finish them before I do this duplicating and recycling process. You want to really spend the time on the first tile, like such as this, doing the coloring. Took a long time for every field. Only want to do that once and then recycle. But this is very valuable, and then maybe put this over on the side. So just focusing on the ultimate score in the front. All right, so that's a good thing I want to see. Maybe I want to see KPI tiles at the top, but I think for the month, definitely want to hone in on the day score. And then here I got the activity, the sleep, and the stress. So that's probably a good thing to show at the start. And then uh, if we go to exercise, so that's a valuable asset, the workout activity day. So if I don't work out, I get a bad score. But it's hard to get a good score. This is my A plus day. So that's nice to know about the month. We're talking about activity right now, so definitely want to make a chart like this for the activity score. That's going to take a while. Um, Definitely want to bring this table in, this chart in. Definitely this chart. This is the workout log. Um, Definitely want this stuff. And it doesn't look right. Then June. Not good so far. Yesterday was a good activity day. The other two weren't. So yeah, this is going to be the month profile dashboard. So like, as a network of dashboards, like every attribute value can have its own profile dashboard. So not attribute value, but every field, with time you can do a month profile, a year profile, a week profile, a quarter profile, a day profile, and then I can do a workout exercise profile, a session profile, a workout type profile. So with every dimension I have, I can, create a specific dashboard for it. And it's going to take a while, but I do want to do that. So, all right, that'll wrap up this video. I hope you like it and stay tuned for more. Bye.